Welcome to this segment of Plugged In with Chain. Today I'm joined by Kevin Coomes, EVP of Sales at Chain. We're going to dive into how our partnership's expanding the use of AI to Chain's check calls and booking workflows with voice agents, making the process faster, smarter, and scalable for mutual customers. First and foremost, Kevin, how are you?
I'm doing good, Alan. It's the thick of conference season, so very, very busy. A lot of travel.
It's been good seeing you over the road. What else do you have lined up for the rest of the season?
Well, we have 3 straight weeks of travel coming up. I don't know at which one we'll be at, but we'll see each other a lot, I would imagine. But yeah, next week F3, and then we've got Broker Carrier Summit, and then Technovations to round it all out. So 3 straight weeks, but it'll be good. See a lot of freight people, hear a lot of freight talk. It'll be nice going into the holidays.
We're excited. We'll be at all three with you. So looking forward to seeing you there. So let's dive right in. So operations management, historically a really manual process. Tell us what challenges were brokers and 3PLs facing when Chain was brought to market and what you're helping solve for.
Yeah, so I think, manual processes have plagued freight for a long time. When you look at everything from the moment that you're awarded a load, specifically on the operational side, from booking and carrier selection through to dispatch, through to tracking and delivery, you can track a truck, you can bring all this data into your TMS. There's all these things that you can do, but there's still a lot of requirements that specifically your customers have in the freight environment around ETAs, check calls, right? Or when you're doing booking and carrier selection, there's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of communication that happens between the rep and the carrier. So a lot of that process takes time, right? Which costs the company money and then eats away at margins and cash flow. So a lot of what we're solving for, and specifically with this integration with CloneOps and with our partnership, is trying to take every possible action that we can, specifically the low-hanging fruit, the back and forths, and try to automate those, right? And so, as I mentioned, text and emails and now calls in working with CloneOps and really kind of utilizing AI to take that process and that SOP and not remove the human from the equation, but really bring it all together and allow the AI to take the manual tasks and steps that cost the company money, that don't make the company money, and help automate those.
Yeah, I hear you. So we talk about that often, right? So those random or not random, but tasks that happen routinely, that's the word. So the routine tasks that we can automate, the low-hanging fruit is what you called it, right? So that we can create faster processes to win more business, right? Talk to me a little bit about data unification. So I know that that's another point. There's fragmented systems from TMSs to load boards to emails to text messages. So folks are operating all these different systems, multiple screens. Talk to me a little bit about that data unification piece.
Yeah, for sure. I think data unification specifically with what we do, right? With Chain, with CloneOps, what we're doing with agentic type AI is incredibly important. You think about it exactly like you would think about a rep or a broker. You've got a TMS, you've got information in other systems, load boards, compliance systems, pricing systems, right? You've got all the communication, emails and texts and phone calls, like I mentioned before. AI is only as powerful as the data that you give it, that it can read and react to, and then proactively, obviously, go out and take action on things. So that's a huge piece of the puzzle for us at Chain specifically is our platform is bringing together those communication methods, bringing together the TMS data, the load board data, so that those operational processes can be automated, right? So that when things happen, when triggers occur, the AI can go out and do the outreach in various methods, right? And in working with CloneOps, kind of to bring it back to the partnership scope, I think this adds another layer for us specifically where, we can utilize calling now to be that other piece of the puzzle that we can bring together the data, equip the voice agent with that information, and then allow it to go out and take action.
Yeah, and I think this is where it gets fun. Can you go ahead and show us or walk us through what that actually looks like, right? So the consolidation of info coming from a TMS or load boards into Chain, and then now with CloneOps being able to evaluate that offer, make that outbound call, provide ETAs, and follow up automatically. So having that AI assistant versus the human having to do all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's dive into it. We'll quickly just kind of take you through. I'll just quickly take you through the whole process. We won't dive too deep, but really, we already mentioned it, right? Data unification. What we do with the chain platform is try to bring initially all the context around the communication into one place. So text, email, and now phone calls, right? And the transcripts from phone calls and that sort of stuff that we're working on CloneOps. So our chat function, I'm actually in our inbox right now. Our chat function kind of brings all that into one place, specifically around what I'm showing you right now is like tracking operational visibility. But we do the same thing with booking and carrier selection, which I'll show you in just a minute. But the goal is obviously to take that TMS data, take that communication information, bring all those details and data around the load into the chain platform, and then obviously be able to push all this information back to a TMS to make updates and that sort of thing as well. So that's obviously a huge piece of the puzzle in terms of bringing all that information together so that the AI can read and react to it. But if we go over to the booking here, we take that same approach when we're talking about booking or tracking. So we're trying to collect all of the offer management around different loads. So where we're at right now, we're essentially on the chain private load board. This is all the loads that the customer, the broker has out to offer, right? That they're out there trying to cover. If I click into one of these loads, just as I had mentioned, the idea is it doesn't matter where this data comes from. It could come from the load boards. It could come from the TMS. Somebody bids $790,622. That's amazing. That guy can close up shop if he gets this load.
Huge.
But huge. Wherever this information comes from, try to bring it all into one place. So we have various ways to do that through email, through our own platform where we can offer that out and they can bid on your loads. And now, obviously, we're working on with CloneOps through phone calls. So being able to field these calls with the voice agent, really pull the data together and then put it in here. And then for us on the chain side, when we take that process, once we are able to collect that, our goal is to bring all the information, the rates, pricing information. If we dive into one of these carriers, you're able to pull the MC, the DOT. We can pull Safer and 411 and all those different websites that have the FMCSA data and DOT data and fraud data. Look at their IP addresses. Look at their onboarding, highway, my carrier packets, RMIS, whomever. You see where I'm going with this. Now the AI is equipped with this data. It has the bids. Now we can build the SOPs and train it to go out and take action, right? So instead of having 13 offers on my board, some might be declined for compliance reasons, some might be declined for pricing reasons, but what we'd be able to do is take these offers and sift through them, allow autopilot to kind of take the first pass, eliminate the bids that the human doesn't need to see, and then when a rep comes in, maybe they have 5 good bids, right? And then again, with CloneOps, with the phone calling method, we have ways to do suggestions. We can allow the AI to email or now potentially call out to these different carriers that you've moved it with in the past, kind of service up those carriers based on the data. So we're just trying to speed up that carrier selection process on the booking side is really our goal with that.
That makes sense. So the before and after with adding a tools like voice AI with CloneOps is that outbound ability to be able to see all of this data within the chain ecosystem, then the AI to be able to make this consultative decision and then dial out to the right carrier to go ahead and proactively essentially bid, right, versus being reactive in process.
Exactly. Instead of just spraying the field, find the right carriers. That's really the goal. And we've got the prior trip data, the prior quote data. We also have all the prior performance metrics on carriers, on time, pickup, delivery. Good segue into tracking. Where do we get this data? We also do all the tracking, the track and trace visibility side of this. So exactly what you said. It's allowing the AI to have the not just make a decision, not just call a bunch of carriers or field a bunch of calls, but make the right decisions with the right carriers to hopefully get it done faster. That's the goal with the booking
Yeah,
side.
adding to that track and trace piece, I know that's something we added in there was that outbound dial for check calls, right? Like being able to call the carrier who's already over the road for that tracking or visibility. I know that you're doing that today within the chain environment with SMS, and then with email as an option. And so now the third leg to that would be that call option, to be able to truly get all the data back into Chain.
Yeah, absolutely. So on the tracking side, same idea as the booking. We're bringing together the data, we're bringing together the communication, we're initiating tracking. Our product, the AI product that we sell, we call it Autopilot, right? So we actually have three products: booking, tracking, and then Autopilot, because we do have our own tracking app and our own things. But if I go into one of these, you'll see like Autopilot sending text messages, it's sending emails, it's going out and reaching out for ETAs, for updates, it's getting tracking notifications, it's running that process, right? Of managing the workflow and the SOP on those operational, like we said, low-hanging fruit manual touches. The really great thing about this is obviously text and email is great for getting quick answers, getting an ETA, getting a response from a driver, a dispatcher. But there are a lot of times that exceptions arise, or there's specific assistance requests, or maybe we're not getting an answer from a carrier, right? Now with CloneOps, instead of just doing the text and emails and automating those processes, we can now go out and we can actually do the phone calls as well. So if I go into the automation here and I go into the settings on Autopilot, we can set up different rules and SOPs. The AI actually learns a lot of these. So the global generalized stuff for major operational tasks, like every day we want to do ETA checks on these loads at certain times, it starts to learn that and take care of those on its own and can kind of determine the methods of outreach for those. There's still a lot of other specific tasks for different customers, more specific things around specific requirements for shipments. But as you said, now if we go to create new rule and we go into create a custom rule, we can create those rules, we can create those conditions. But if we go to take action, now we can do text, we can do email, and we can do phone call. And so this could all be fallback as well. Maybe we text the driver, we don't get a response. Maybe then we email the dispatcher 20 minutes, 30 minutes later, we don't get a response. We really need to get this ETA. Let's just have the AI make the phone call out to the driver or the dispatcher on that load. And so
I think the beauty
of
of what you're showing
go
here
ahead.
is that
Yeah.
the beauty of what you're showing is this is built directly within the Chain ecosystem, right? Or the UI. So Chain customers don't have to go to another screen. They don't have to do anything different. Right within their same environment now, they're able to add that action, which is make the AI phone call. So they're able to utilize the CloneOps technology directly within their current instance with Chain.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the key, right? I think when we put out the partnership announcement, a lot of our verbiage around why we did this and what we're doing is like a more integrated solution, easier, right? To make this easier on the customer to just operate and go out and do that. And if I'm being honest, I think with this partnership between CloneOps and Chain, I think we're one of the first, if not the first companies that are doing phone calls like this with a voice agent for visibility track and trace. And this is out of the box, ready to go. We can do any SOP and do voice for visibility, which is pretty cool. So
that's a great segue into if I'm a customer and I want to know, like, how do I access this? How do I turn it on? Kevin, what do I do? Who do I reach out to?
yeah, me right now.
I love it.
Yeah,
Kevin, you're the
exactly.
man.
Yeah, yeah. We're a pretty tight knit team. Chain has been a bootstrap company from the beginning. We're actually hiring soon, so we're going to be expanding. But yeah, right now, I mean, in terms of outreach, getting this set up and getting this going, reach out to us through the website, trychain.com. You can reach out to me. Yeah, we've gotten really good feedback so far from a lot of different customers. We got some good pilot customers on board that are already starting to use this. So I think it's going to be really good.
Thank you. Any final thoughts on the partnership and where we go from here?
Yeah, I mean, I think with the booking piece specifically, we have a long way to go that we can go in this partnership. Like I mentioned, fielding the inbound calls, tracking the booking, having the negotiation, putting that information into a platform. There's a lot more that we're going to do with that in this partnership to make it easier. And people look at that and they're like, ah, it's just taking a call and grabbing the data. It's not trivial with the voice agent AI to do that stuff. You have to have the platform and the workflow to put that through. But I think between CloneOps and Chain, I think we're going to come up with a really awesome solution for that. So
I agree with you. And as we wrap up, I'll say, so this is what the partnership, right, with Chain and CloneOps was meant to deliver. So real automation to workflows that drive real results for customers. So thank you, Kevin, for joining us today. And thank you all for watching this segment of Plugged In, where we showcase what happens when real automation meets real freight world problems. Thank you.
thank you.